All right, guys, we got a brand new on-court performer, maybe. It's for $100. It's the Jordan 1 Take 5, and I cannot tell if these were made for basketball or if they were made for a skateboard, but we're gonna take a look at them. Hey, what's good, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on these guys right here. This is the Jordan 1 Take 5, the 5th iteration of the 1 Take line. The 1 Take line is actually a takedown line of Russell Westbrook's signature series, the Why Not series. I was gonna say the 0 point whatever, but it's the Why Not and then whatever number they are. I think they're on 6 right now. I believe the 6 might be his last one.
What?
I believe we have another Carmelo and Chris Paul situation where they're just kind of quietly removing Russell Westbrook from the signature roster. Not confirmed, just something that I feel in my bones.
It just got interesting.
So on the outsole right here, we've got herringbone from top to bottom, pretty standard stuff at this point, or at least it should be. It might actually perform even better than it looks, mostly because the mobility of the shoe, I think, is under performance level. You know what I mean? Like they're a little stiff and a little rigid, which is just weird for how mobile that guy is. Like you can't flex the shoe, bro. It's crazy. So from a traction standpoint, it looks good. It feels good. It'll probably play good as long as you can, maneuver and things like that. Dust might be an issue for some. The herringbone pattern is a little bit tight, but I don't think it's going to be a big issue. I just think that the overall stiffness of the shoe and some of the other things that they did to it are going to be the lackluster features. The reason why they are so stiff though is because of this big ass shank plate right here. It actually extends into the forefoot. So this little cutout that you see is supposed to depict the cushioning system that they use, which is great. But what that is right there is just that plastic or whatever is just going straight into the forefoot, making this, I cannot bend it. It's weird. So if you need super hardcore torsion, rigidity, and forefoot restriction, because it's supposed to be like a spring plate. So if you do flex it, when you do release energy, it's supposed to bounce back into shape and everything. So if you need that, this could be one of those shoes that will actually offer that for you. Most people have to actually get that from either a carbon fiber plate, a P-Bax plate, or from an additional insole. So in that sense, they don't need something like that. But again, it's just it's just a little odd. I'll say that. Like his actual signature line doesn't have anything restricting forefoot area like that. So I thought it was weird that these do. Now, speaking of the midsole, the cushion itself feels like Phylon. It also feels fairly similar to what was used in the Why Not 02s. So kind of the injected Phylon variety. It could also be compression molded. It is very firm, so who knows. Inside the forefoot is actually a Zoom Air unit and it's top loaded. So essentially you have one of these guys right in the forefoot, which again, they depict with that little hole or that cutout right there. It's actually not the size that you see the cutout when you remove the insole and you actually look at the Zoom Air that's right underneath that strobel. It is one of these shaped and sized Zoom units. However, it does protrude out a little bit. So I'd be curious to know what the thickness of the Zoom unit is. Is it a standard like 6 to 8 millimeter, or is it more of the 10 millimeter variety? Now, one of the downsides that I was only able to feel the Zoom just a little bit, despite it being protruding and right underneath your forefoot. So that is one of those things where the restriction of motion right here, the restriction of flex, is going to kind of hinder that feeling, at least until they're broken in. Now the upper is the interesting part. We've got a couple of different panels of different materials. The back panel right here is a very shortcut suede, not premium materials or anything like that, but dude, I will take this. This is way nicer than plastics and wovens and stuff like that to me. The midfoot is all synthetic, and that's the part where it's interesting because it feels really nice, but it's not a premium material whatsoever. So I don't dislike it at all. I think that it's a good feature. One of the weird things though, something that will kind of be missed, is all of these weird little notches or cutouts. It almost looks like each panel is its own flap. So you got, 2 in the forefoot, 2 at the midfoot, and then 2 at the collar. That would increase your overall like mobility on the court with the shoe on, had this plate down there not restricted all of your motion. But anyways, the forefoot strap is a couple of different things. The one that's on the inside is suede, so again, very nice. The one on the outside, this is where I'm like, are these skate shoes? Yeah, I know that they're not, rhetorical question, but that's actually it's a thick ass piece of rubber, bro. Like, it's crazy. And it goes all the way around the toe right here, which I thought was just kind of neat looking. But for basketball, why? I think it's cool. It's just a lot. I will say though, I like this little wing right here. I think it looks really cool. I love the little mini outrigger. I love that the Jumpman's right there. I think that's a dope ass feature, like really cool design aspect right there. So I dig it. Again, I like the materials and I like the rubber toe. This is everything all together just doesn't feel like a basketball shoe to me. It feels more like a skate shoe. I think that they should do skate shoes. They've done it a couple of times. They've never been full on like this is a skate shoe, except for that one time with the Jordan 1s, the lows, and that didn't last long, you know what I mean? And then they dropped the Costin ones. But yeah, if they were to like straight up like be like, no, dude, we're making a skate division. First off, I don't know how well received it would be. It might not be well received at all. But if this was part of that line, I think the people would f with it, man.
It would have been glorious.
Now the last material that they feature is right here at the toe. It's just kind of an open-celled mesh, a real cheap material, but it's kind of stacked up with or surrounded by all of this other stuff, all these other panels and different materials that really do add a ton of support. So you can get away with using something so cheap and flimsy right there in the forefoot, while everything else is basically doing all the heavy lifting as far as performance features are concerned, like lockdown and all that stuff. I think that that's really cool. Something really interesting though is the tongue itself. First off, it's semi-gusseted. It's kind of attached like right here. Not a hard shoe to get into or anything like that, so don't be like afraid of that. But up and down the tongue, like these little gray puffy notches, those are all big fat ass pillows of foam. Like they're for padding and everything. Again, this looks like it's for skating, bro. Like it looks so dope for that. I don't know if people will buy them for that. I'm just saying, if this was a skate shoe, I'd totally with it. Like I'd be like, yeah, that's sick. Now, one of the things that I think that is the detriment to this whole shoe, besides that plate that's on the bottom restricting all of your motion, is actually the overall fit. I like a snug fit. Most of you guys that are like, you know, constant viewers and supporters of this channel already know that I like a snug fit. I dig that. But these are tight as shit, dude. Like they're really suffocating, and it's all in the forefoot area. Like this shoe in that section is stuffed with so much padding that when you put your foot in there, you can feel it pressing on the top of your toes. It's very weird. Like it's not a normal kind of sensation, especially when you're used to thinner builds like this, like the more modern stuff. Like right over there, I wish that I had them like closer, but the GT Cut 3s, that entire shoe is very thin and tapered and all that stuff. Not a ton of stuff inside the shoe. So this is built, I would say, like overbuilt, even when compared to an old school shoe. Like if I was gonna take these right here, these are a fan favorite of a lot of people. This is a big ass bulky monster, but these feel like way more cumbersome than this. And that's not something that you want in a modern day hoop shoe. So for the fit, I would go true to size. Lengthwise, they are perfectly fine. Widthwise, they are a little snug. And then that top, like that top is definitely suffocating. If you could find these in store before purchasing, just go in and try them on first. That's what I would wholeheartedly recommend, or highly recommend, is to do that. Because I think that that might surprise some people if you get them in, and I'm telling you, there's just a lot of padding in there. It's really weird. It doesn't feel like a basketball shoe. But with all that being said, for $100, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a cop? Do you think it's a drop? Have you tried them on yet? Do you agree with the fit? Do you think that they're like, holy crap, those are tight? Like it feels like your foot is an egg and it's trying to protect it. That's how much padding is surrounding your foot. It's crazy. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll catch you on the next one. So until then, have a good one.
Does he still have his lifestyle line?
No.
No? Okay, because that was basically where I was going when you had pulled the shoe out.
That was hella short-lived.
Okay.
So yeah, that was like almost a one and done thing. There was a couple of models, but not anything crazy. That's actually, believe it or not, if you guys don't know, that's how Russell Westbrook's line started with Jordan Brand, was with lifestyle shoes. He didn't actually get a full-on signature yet. He wasn't wearing, you know, his own shoe on court. He was wearing the flagship shoe. So he's wearing the 28s, the 29s, stuff like that. And he had his signature line was the lifestyle shoe. They're like, yeah, you know, his fashion style is really hot. And then they switched that up and they're like, just kidding, we're gonna give him a signature shoe. And the line started off real strong and then kind of petered out really fast. Same with the takedown model. So takedowns were really strong at first, and now we got this. And I'm just kind of like, wow, can you care a little bit more?